Hello there, welcome to CITAM Church Online. My name is George Murichu, and it's always a delight to be able to connect with you this way and to bring to you something that I believe will add value to you. Today, I want to share with you on what to do with the past. And I have two people in mind as I'm talking about the past. I have that person who, when you look at the rear view mirror of your life, you're looking back and you can see mountains of success. You can see significant milestones in your life. And as the Englishman says, you may be tempted to rest on your laurels. That's part of the past that we need to look at. And I'll be sharing something that you can do if you fall in that category. The second person I have in mind is one who looks again at the rear view mirror, at the side mirror of your life. And you look back and you can only see things that you do not want to show up in your present. And undoubtedly, you don't want them to be part of your future. In other words, when you look at the past, you can see regrets. You can see things that you want to be swept away and you want to let go of them. It is to these two people that I want to share today the wise words of Paul in one of his very first letter, if not the first that he wrote, Philippians chapter 3. Philippians chapter 3 has been said, or Philippians as a book has been said to be one of the most powerful and positive books that Paul has written, despite writing it in prison. And he talks about his own philosophy, or he gives us a glimpse into his own philosophy in life and ministry. And I want us to hear these words from the book of Philippians chapter 3, verse 13 and 14. He says, "But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." I lay emphasis on Paul saying, forgetting what is behind. In that chapter, he talks about the very two things I've spoken about. He talks about the milestones in his own ministry. He talks about the things that he would look at and he would pride himself in. He was a Pharisee of Pharisees, having sat at the feet of one of Israel's foremost scholars, a rabbi known as Gamaliel. He would have prided himself in his ethnic heritage. He would have prided himself in his legalistic zeal. And those are things which Paul puts in this box called forget. But then there are various other things, and in other letters of Paul, we see them, especially 2 Corinthians. He goes through some bitter experiences. He goes through painful things. He goes through things which he doesn't want to see in his present, and for sure he wouldn't have wanted them to show up in his future. And friends, that is the reality of our lives. Life comes as a mix. It comes as this mix of both blessings and burdens. It comes as a mix of both the ups and the downs, the twists and the turns, the crescendos and the decrescendos of life. And therefore, I want to submit to you what Paul says in terms of how we should handle what's in the past, that we should forget the past. Forgetting the past, especially the successes, can set us up for new successes. Forgetting the past, the failures, can free us up to be able to step out into new things. It can free us so that instead of being prisoners of our past, especially past regrets, we can become products of that past who are liberated to step forward into all that God has in store. And so today, I want to challenge you to look again at the rear view mirror, to look at the side view mirrors of your life at this point in your life. What is it that you've prided yourself in? They are successes, they are your mountains, they are your milestones, they are the things that you look at and you sleep easy. You can rest on your laurels when you think about these things. But I also want you to think about some of those painful points in your past that you don't want to show up in your present, and you don't want them to undermine your future. And I want to submit to you to forget those things and to embrace this attitude of Paul, which is forgetting those things, I strain, I press, I march on towards what lies ahead of me. Today, I'm challenging you to forget the past and to step forward into the future and all that God has in store for you. May God bless you. I'd love to hear your comments. And indeed, if this has been a blessing, pass it on to someone who needs to know what to do with their past. God bless you.